Hello everyone and welcome to the YouTube channel of Being ACCA. This is Tushita Gupta, ACCA affiliate, and this video is going to be all about the common mistakes which I find while I evaluate the answer scripts of my AFM test series students. So, if I talk about the mistakes that I see, I would firstly like to address about time management. Time management becomes very crucial, specifically in the professional level papers, wherein you are not supposed to leave any requirements empty because that shows a lack of professionalism. So the time management is of super duper importance, I would say, over here. No question should be left unattempted. You should be answering all of the questions, and time should be divided appropriately basis the number of marks which are available. I am sure by now, if you have reached the professional level in the ACCA qualification, you would know that we have a 1.8 minute per mark rule. That means 100 marks are available to you, 180 minutes are given to you for the paper. So that means for 1 mark you have 1.8 minutes in the exam. So every requirement that you solve is going to be based upon this rule. Let's suppose you have a 25 marker question, so the time that you have for attempting that is 25 multiplied by 1.8. This needs to be followed religiously so that you're able to ensure the completion of your paper timely and you maximize the chances of your passing. This is the number one mistake which I would like to point out. Another mistake is not interpreting the verbs correctly. So the requirements that are given to you, they start usually they start off with a verb: explain, state, discuss. So different verbs require different levels of explanation. If it's a simple verb like state, lesser explanation needed. If it's a verb like discuss, it's a discussion. Discussions are lengthy. You talk about pros, you talk about cons. So it's going to be a lengthier answer. It's going to be a more of a proper explanation of the things. So this is how different verbs can also make you understand how much, what extent to which you need to write your answers to. So this is another mistake which students make. Do let me know if you want me to make a video about different verbs and what all are you supposed to address when different verbs are given. This is about that. Another mistake that I would like to point out is that students often do not use subheadings. Subheadings are very important because they give your answers structure. The examiner is going to be very burdened if you lay down all your points one by one without separating them, or without giving the what the next paragraph that you're talking about, what it is all about. So ensure that subheadings are being used properly whenever, wherever you can. It only adds structure, it only adds value to your answer. It hardly takes any time. So ensure that you are using subheadings. Another thing is that while you are writing the discursive answers, do not go on and ramble paragraphs. Make sure that you are answering the discursive elements in short paragraphs, 2 to 3 lines, 3 to 4 lines, and then switch to the next line. So do not make a very lengthy answer. Even I am on the evaluation side, and trust me, it's very difficult to evaluate answers which go on and on and on. So this is about another mistake. What I would also like to address over here is that students do not link the things to the scenario. What do you mean by linking to the scenario? Is you're not just supposed to know the background theory, the background concepts. You're also supposed to apply it to the scenario. If you have learned the technique of advanced investment appraisal, if you've learned how do you calculate the numbers for swaps, for futures and forwards, those numbers need to be explained properly. You cannot just put the formula and say that this is the number that I've calculated. I have seen in the marking schemes, the marks for discussion are growing day by day. The numerical portions are still being asked. I'm not denying that, but the weightage, if you see the highest weightage, if you compare numerical and discussion portion, you will find that the majority of the marks in your AFM paper pertain to discussion. So it is the discussion element which you guys need to further strengthen. And whenever you're writing any such points, whenever you're interpreting anything, whenever you're discussing about something, ensure that you think about various perspectives. If this is going to happen, then as a result, what is going to happen? The first thing that happened, what made that happen? What was the circumstances which were happening earlier because of which that thing happened? And if you take up something, what all possibly could happen? Do not always focus on the numbers, focus about the qualitative aspects. If we take up this project, maybe we are getting some positive APV, we are getting a positive NPV, but what is it going to do to the people around us? What happens to the society? What happens to the stakeholders? What happens to the people who are living near us? So this is something which you guys need to consider. Every concept that you have learned needs to be applied in ACCA. No rote learning will help you over here. So forget about rote learning of definitions and everything. Definitions do not get asked. Even if they ask you definitions, it's always going to be, marks are always going to be awarded for those answers wherein you are explaining the words in simple terms. Nobody likes jargon. So everything should be explained in a simplified manner. Every point you should try to think from as many different perspectives as possible. Give a holistic approach, give a holistic analysis of whatever is being asked in the exam. If you have been given certain scenario, think about it from all perspectives, from the stakeholders, from the society, however many people are there in your stakeholders, think from everyone's perspectives. So try to be as 360-degree as you can be while writing your answers. And these are the few common mistakes which I have found while evaluating the answer scripts of my AFM test series students. Now, one tip which I would like to give all of you is that please get at least one mock evaluated from your tutor, from your mentor, whoever you feel like, but one mock at least should be evaluated by someone so that you get to know what mistakes you are making and you're able to rectify those mistakes before sitting for your actual exam. I would like to wish you all the very best for your AFM exam. Thank you for watching.